Vote. Mark Ingram from Alabama gets the Heisman Trophy, first ever Crimson Tide player to be so awarded. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. We'll be back in a half hour or so with the Tom All Hyundai halftime report.
But now time to head to Lima Senior for the TY Tigers and Spartans. Joe Fain, Mark Shine.
Hello everyone, this is Joe Fain and I'm at the Lima Senior High School Spartan Gymnasium, and this is the Apollo Career Center pregame report. We're here for this evening's contest with the hometown Spartans against the visiting Mansfield Senior Tigers. I'm here with my partner Mark Shine, and Mark, when you look at these teams, two quality teams, outstanding records last year, bringing back a lot of talent on paper, it looks like a good matchup this evening. What do you see as tonight's keys?
Well, you're right, Joe. We're talking about two teams that are undefeated coming into this evening's game. Let's look at Mansfield Senior first of all. This is the style of play they've used for a long, long time. They want to create defensive pressure, create turnovers. They want you to take bad shots that they defensive rebound and then take the ball and go in transition. They want to score before your defense is set. The third thing we'll look at for them, though, is what's called road warriors with a question mark, and the reason for that is they had a tough conference game last evening at Orville. They made the 2-hour trip over here this evening. Let's see how that plays out for them tonight. For the Lima Senior Spartans, how do they counteract that? Well, first of all, they want to try to value possession of the basketball. They will also like to go in transition, but they want to do so without taking bad shots and without getting in such a hurry that they turn the basketball over. The other thing is for them, can they get to the free throw line? Because when you get to the free throw line, you slow down those teams that like to run. And as much defensive pressure as we'll see from Mansfield, probably be a lot of fouls called. Get to the foul line, slow the pace of the game down.
It should be a good one this evening. We will be back in a couple minutes with the tip-off. And again, this has been the Apollo Career Center pregame report.
Tonight's presentation of high school basketball is brought to you by Just Duckies on Kibbe Street. Stop in this holiday season for a great selection of unique gift ideas. Good luck to all area athletes this winter season.
Remember when a cheeseburger costs 19 cents? A poodle skirt was in every girl's closet? If the answer's yes, then you deserve free checks. And that's one thing that won't change. Merit checking for those age 50 and better from the people you know and trust at First Federal Bank.
Hi, I'm Randy Custer. Ford is a company you can feel good about doing business with. Super fuel efficiency, great quality, and now during the Ford year-end sales event, there's never been a better time to get a better deal. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and crossovers. Here at Raby's, have them all. Up to 60 months, 0% financing. And don't forget super leases. There's never been a better time to own a Ford. Stop in at Raby Ford Lincoln Mercury today and drive one.
Remember when a cheeseburger costs 19 cents? A poodle skirt was in every girl's closet? If the answer's yes, then you deserve free checks. And that's one thing that won't change. Merit checking for those age 50 and better from the people you know and trust at First Federal Bank.
Good evening, everyone. This is Joe Fain alongside Mark Shine. We are here at Lima Senior High School for tonight's matchup with the home Spartans taking on the visiting Mansfield Senior Tigers. We want to thank the folks at First Federal Bank for our scoreboard tonight. Those fine folks are bringing the scoreboard, and we'd like to introduce the starting lineups for both teams this evening. First, well, let's go to the referees first, and we have Don Kemper, Paul Winglewich, and Denny Morris, veteran crew, and we want to wish them well this evening. Now let's bring you the starting lineups. We'll start with Mansfield first. Starting for Mansfield, John Bessick, Montez Norris, Jalen Watts, Darren Harris, and Devin Benson. And for the hometown Spartans from Lima Senior this evening, we will have Anton Hutchins, Tyler White, Jermonte Healy, Deshaun Bates, and Tyrone Perry. Mark, we talked about both of these teams bringing back some experience and explosive scoring. Do you look for a high-scoring affair this evening?
I really think it will be, especially if they get untracked on a Saturday evening. I know sometimes both teams had league school games last night, and sometimes it's a little tough to get untracked in that first quarter, but if they do and when they do, this should be a high-scoring game. Darren Harris, number 24 for Mansfield, was a third-team all-district player a year ago as a junior. Of course, Anton Hutchins for Lima Senior was a third-team all-state player a year ago and first-team all-district. So we have some real talent on the floor, not just with those two, but with other players as well.
Yeah, well, Mark, you had mentioned that this is the 31st meeting with Mansfield Senior, the Battle of the Seniors. having a slight edge, 16 wins to 15. So obviously these two programs and these two schools know each other.
They do. They've played frequently in the tournament. The last several years they've played regular season games, and many of them have been epic confrontations. And prior to last year, the Mansfield Senior had won the last 3 games in the regular season. Lima Senior last year went to Mansfield, won over there quite convincing. I think that was one of the things that really sparked their season last year for Lima Senior. So let's see how this one plays out this evening. Both teams 2-0, both teams 1-0 in their conference.
Well, you know, as you mentioned, both teams off to a good start. We talked about the Spartans in the pregame. 19-5 last year, made that nice little run in the tournament, made it to the regional finals. High expectations this year?
Yeah, I would think so. They graduated a lot of players, and particularly their size. They graduated a year ago, but they have an excellent sophomore now in Tyler White, who's playing guard for them and playing extremely well. And I think with Perry returning, and of course Anton Hutchins, and they're going to go 10 deep this evening. I think this is a Spartan team that has high expectations, and Coach Allen certainly demands that of his players.
When we look at the tip-off circle, you've got 6'7" Devin Benson Jr. from Mansfield Senior. Obviously a big stud in the middle, and also Anton Hutchins for the Lima Senior Spartans. As a tradition here at Lima Senior, all the fans standing up for the first score.
They went over and back right away on the very first possession. Receiver caught the ball as he was leaving the backcourt going into the front court, and not allowed.
Well,
get the ball.
One thing to look for early on, as you mentioned, maybe a little fatigue, and sometimes that's not just physical, that can be mental.
That's correct. See how the Spartans start out facing a man-to-man defense from Mansfield.
Spartans look to be patient. If you look at their lineup, you can see they've got consistent size. Obviously wanting to get the ball to Hutchins early on and establish him. The shot is rebounded, and it looks to be Mansfield Senior's ball.
Hutchins took the ball baseline, just not able to score. Spartans come out in full court man.
Just what we expected, that 94-foot heat really from both of these teams. Their offense generated by their defense, Mark, many nights.
But when both teams play quality opponents, they have the ability to run sets and be patient.
That shot was thrown up by John Bessick. Looked like Hutchins may have gotten a piece of that. Kick ahead for Lima Senior. From the corner, long three, and he banked it in. Jermonte Healy, I guess he called that, Mark.
It doesn't matter, counts for 3.
Right back at him. Long three from the corner for Montez Norris, and here we go. Hutchins out in front, a little strong.
Yep, crowd was anticipating dunk. Pass was just a little long.
Another three from downtown, and that is Tyler White. We're going to get an early timeout from Mansfield Senior. We're going to take it with them, but the score 6-0 out of the chute for the Spartans.
30-second timeout, Mansfield.
Tonight's presentation of high school basketball is brought to you by Diller Furniture. In business for over 100 years and in our 4th generation, you can trust us to continue to offer quality furniture and unbeatable service. We guarantee it. And by Elida Road Tire, your full-service stop for tires, wheels, stereos, mechanical work, and graphics. Elida Road Tire. We've been here, we'll be here.
Baby, it's cold outside. You'll stay nice and cozy warm with the new Eden Pure heaters just arrived and on sale at DeHaven. The Eden Pure Gen 3 is a portable and economical heater that's odor-free, 100% safe, and keeps a healthy humidity in your home. And at DeHaven's, we don't sell the imitations or the knockoffs, only the best, backed by the area's only authorized service center. Stop in and see our newest heaters in stock and on sale at DeHaven's in Lima and Findlay. Baby, it's cold outside.
Have you been to the Old Brown Outback lately?
We want to invite you out for a uniquely delicious experience. You will love our new luncheon baked potato bar with all of your favorite toppings. Even our salad bar has a fresh new look with lots of healthy options. At the Old Barn Outback, all you need is imagination to make dining a personally creative experience that is different every day.
And for all you busy parents on the go, try a family meal deal to take home. It surely beats fast food, and your family will love it.
Only at the Old Barn Outback. We'll see you soon.
We are back at Spartan High School. We would like to thank Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken for providing the food tonight. Put Lee's underneath the tree this year with a Lee's gift card. That's Lee's Chicken. We appreciate what they did for the fellas and delicious food. Mark, off to a great start if you're a Spartan.
Jermonte Healy and Tyler White both sticking 3 balls to get that quick 6-0 lead.
Quick timeout from Coach Effie James from Mansfield, and probably a good timeout.
Trying to play some open post motion.
Strong drive and stuck back by John Bessick. Darren Harris taking the ball to the hole. Looks like Lima Senior looking to run that sideline break.
Spartan's second turnover of the game.
We will see them inbounds the ball. Mansfield on the board, 6-2 with 6 minutes left to go in the ball game. And again, that pressure mark.
At the timeout, the coach Allen went from man press to 2-2-1 zone.
It looks like Darren Harris is going to take that ball to the hole strong. That's about the 3rd take into the paint. He hasn't been successful, but you got to like the aggressiveness.
Yes, you do. And again, that's one of the things both teams would like to do, because that gets you to the free throw line early and often and slows the other team down. They're playing a transition game.
Mark, you talked about Tyler White before the break, knocking down that long 3. That shows the range that this young man has.
He is a nice-looking young sophomore, isn't he? He scored double figures in both games. In fact, he's just played extremely well. He knows who to pass the ball to and when, and that's very patient. Another turnover. That's 3 now for the Spartans.
And that's the kind of game that we talked about. Mansfield Senior will play. Jalen Watts getting into the paint. Nice little teardrop for 2. Scores 6-4 in the favor of Lima Senior, but 2 buckets in a row coming out of that timeout for Mansfield. Another turnover heading the other way. Ball is kicked out, and that's a jumper by Jalen Watts, and he'll bury it to tie it up 6-all.
And it's just what we talked about in the pregame that the Spartans did not want to do. They've already got 4 turnovers. We played less than 3 minutes of basketball.
Hutchins taking the ball and kicking it to the corner. Looks like long 3 again from the corner. Hutchins will clear that up, back up, and in. Strong putback from Anton Hutchins. He went up and got that, Mark, with a lot of strength.
He did. He not just was because he could out-jump everybody, because he was stronger than everybody in the low box.
Ball is out front with Desmond Harvey.
You mentioned how much stronger Anton Hutchins looks this year than did a year ago. He has spent some time in the weight room. There's a second turnover for Mansfield.
Yeah, and on the fly comes Jermonte Healy. He'll take it up strong. And that ball will be back in favor of Mansfield Senior. You know, you look at Devin Benson just on paper. We've got a substitute coming in for Lima Senior. That's number 11. And that would be Shondale Walton is in the ball game. But looking at Devin Benson, Mark, at 6'7", you would think you would want to establish him in the post.
You'd think so. And right now they've used him on the perimeter trying to crash the boards from a range. There's a 3-ball.
3-ball, and he got it. Jalen Watts on the pull-up. 9-8. Mansfield with their first lead of the night over Lima Senior.
Timeout's done them good. They've outscored the Spartans 9-2.
You know, looks like Mansfield really wants to get you out of your consistency, your flow offensively. It looks like we may have a foul, and that will be on number 12. Montez Norris, that'll be his first. But a lot of physical pressure out there, Mark. Probably willing to take a couple fouls in order to get Lima Senior out of that flow.
We know the Spartans will go 10 deep. It's interesting to see how far the Tigers will go.
Ball's out front. Dunk attempt inside, but bringing it back the other way on the fly is Darren Harris, left-handed off glass, and it is 11-8, coast to coast, Mark.
Well, and that's what we talked about in the pregame. If you don't score, they're going to get the ball either off steals or off of rebounds, and off they go, and you saw it right there.
Kick out, reversing the ball, making the extra pass, long 3. Looks like Lima Senior definitely wants to shoot the 3-ball this evening. That's about the 4th or 5th shot. Again, all the way to the paint is Jalen Watts. And Coach Sean Allen, Mark, cannot be happy with the penetration right now that Lima Senior's given up.
The quickness and getting down the floor from defensive end to offensive end is just really in the favor of the team wearing the brown uniforms this evening.
Yeah, we talked about maybe having tired legs. Don't see it right now. Little jumper from the corner. There's Hutchins again going up strong, and he got it again. Anton Hutchins working hard on the lower block, Mark, to get that put back.
Well, they've used a smaller player, John Bisick, on him, trying to keep him away from the...
And it is showtime.
Yes, it is.
For Anton Hutchins. This crowd was waiting on that. 13-12, they'll have to collect the basketball.
Well, I started to say they were using a smaller player, John Bisick, at 6'1", just trying to out-quick Anton on the perimeter, but he's been able to go inside for 2 offensive rebound baskets.
Well, that was liftoff for number 2. He took off from about middle of the key, and he threw that down with authority.
Similar to Joe Fain in his heyday.
Well, I'll wake up one of these minutes. But again, taking it strong to the hole. Everything inside the paint. That miss was from Darren Harris. Hutchins clears the rebound, and it's kicked up to him on the wing. Long 3 ball from Hutchins, showing his range. And here we come the other way. Up ahead, nice kick. And Montez Norris couldn't handle that pass from Darren Harris, but Mark, it's beep beep going the other way. You can't turn your head.
Each team with 4 turnovers now, and certainly the pace of the game is playing to part of that. You see a little one-man pressure now by Montez Norris.
Shondale Walton bringing the ball up, 13-12 with 2 minutes to go, and that's going to be a foul. I think that may be, it is Montez Norris. That's going to be his second. Let's see if Coach Effie James, he is going to go to the bench.
His second, team second.
Number 22, Dontrell Johnson coming into the game. Well, actually, Montez Norris is going to stay on the floor, and Jalen Watts will be checking out.
Haven't really seen a lot of Darren Harris yet. They're a good go-to guy kind of, but they're off to a good start, and they haven't needed him to actually assert himself yet.
Mark, what do you do as an offense to combat all this ball pressure? Long three thrown up by Germonte, and it's kicked up ahead just off the bench. As we said, Dontrell Johnson, and another 1-foot layup for Mansfield. It looks like Mark Mansfield is saying, look, get the ball up on the rim, and we're going to go the other way because we will outscore you. Hutchins with a nice move, and that ball was blocked. Shot by Germonte Healy, and that ball was kicked out by Devin Benson, but I think they may have gotten him for a foul.
I think you're right. We're going to see that last. Yeah, maybe we're not.
Well, right now, Lima Senior's doing a nice job on the offensive glass. To me, it really looks just like a transition defense seems to be.
That's correct. And the problem is when they don't offensive rebound and then don't score, Mansfield's off to the races to the other end and scoring before the Spartans can get back. And I'm going to guess Anton has blood on his jersey, and they're going to take him out of the game for a few moments until that gets cleared up.
Well, Mark, it's early, but do you stop sending 4 guys to the board to try to stop that break?
Well, you got to do something at some point because it's been feast or famine. Now, the Spartans currently have, 5 offensive rebounds, but when they don't score in those things, it's become transition basketball the other way. Here's our first couple free throws of the game.
This would be Germonte Healy shooting 2 shots. Got the first. Nice stroke by Germonte. There's Hutchins coming into the game, only 2 games into the season, averaging 17.5. Tyler White, that good-looking sophomore, 19 points a game mark in the first couple games. As Healy will miss that second. 15-13 Mansfield with 1:23 to go in the first quarter. And that pull-up missed by Terrence Diener, who just checked into the ball game. Also into the ball game from Mansfield senior is number 50, Miles Davis. So, Mark, you talked about Lima senior and Sean Allen wanting to run players in and out. Seems to be the same thing for
Coach Allen has just brought his son Devin in, number 12. He's a 5'11 freshman, and seen him play many times as a middle school player. He can flat out shoot.
Well, that's a great kick inside, but an even better block. And that is an air ball from Tyler White. Tyler, who knocked down that early 3, but talking about a freshman, Mark, early in the season, this kind of game, a lot of pressure.
Yeah, absolutely, and last year you're playing with a different basketball. It's a smaller ball in a different sized gym, and a different type of athlete to play against. Just a lot of differences between that game and this one.
Well, you look at his body physically, and you can tell he's a freshman.
Yeah.
And that may become an issue depending on the matchups and who he plays throughout the season. But, you know, obviously the kid can play or he wouldn't be playing at this level at this point in time.
And he has to be able to, because if you're a freshman and you're going to play with juniors and seniors, they have to be able to accept you, and they have. And when he gets his chance to pass, he does. When he has a chance to score, he will. And that becomes the Spartans' 5th turnover, trying to lob the ball inside.
You know, we talked about the type of game that Mansfield Senior wants to play, and it's a very hectic basketball game. They're willing to make some turnovers themselves, but they are going to force you to make plays and make difficult passes. Just pressure. A little shove there from Shondell Allen. He certainly got caught on that. But they're going to make you make plays and deal with the pressure, and I imagine that's going to continue all games.
I would think you're right, and this will be one of those attrition games and probably a streaky game. There'll probably be spots where one team will run off 6 or 8 or 10 points than the other team will.
A little pressure for the first time from Lima Senior, handled pretty easily. That ball from Miles Davis was kicked back by Adrian Hutchins, number 32 in the ball game. Also in the ball game, Kendall Jackson, number 33. So subs all the way across the board for Lima Senior.
There's not a starter on the floor for the Spartans right now.
Well, that shows you the faith that Coach Sean Allen has in that second team.
Guess is we're looking at him to finish out the quarter this way, probably bring some of his starters back. I like the idea of that. Get to all your players in the game early. And there we're going to get a foul on Kendall Jackson. But get all your players in the game early so that they know they're going to play. They're more attentive on the bench. They're looking for when they can contribute the next time. Appreciate it when coaches do that.
Yeah, and you know, as you said, I mean, it really keeps those kids engaged on the bench. John Bessick from Mansfield Senior was fouled on that shooting stroke, shooting 2 at the line. Misses the first. 15-13 currently. Mansfield Senior been a very entertaining up and down first quarter by both teams. We thought we would see that. We certainly have. Both teams have the ability to get up and down the court. Lots of pressure.
Anton Hutchins just back out of the locker room after cleaning his jersey up from the blood that was on it.
Lima Senior will probably, with this group, Mark, hold for the last shot of the quarter. See if they can tie this up or maybe take a 1-point lead with a 3. Little penetration, great kick. Hutchinson couldn't handle it, going the other way from way downtown. And that's going to do it for the first quarter. Entertaining first quarter with Mansfield Senior up 15-13 over the hometown Lima Senior Spartans.
Tonight's presentation of high school basketball is brought to you by Just Duckies on Kibbe Street. Stop in this holiday season for a great selection of unique gift ideas. Good luck to all area athletes this winter season.
When you want to make it a personal thing, contact Quick as a Wink and Imageries. Now, we're not suggesting fighting or using harsh words, but we are suggesting that you check out our customized Christmas and birthday cards, family Christmas calendars, embroidered ball caps and polos, silkscreen t-shirts, vinyl banners, decorative mouse pads, frisbees, cups and mugs, and pens and pencils, to name but a few, all with your message inscribed. When you're thinking image building, think Quick as a Wink and Imageries. Now that's a point well taken.
Thinking about college? Still looking at options? Then it's time you looked into Rhodes State. You can choose from over 100 majors and certificates that will get you ready for the job market or a bachelor's degree. Plus, Rhodes State offers degrees in some of today's hottest fields, like business and information technology. So what are you waiting for? Look inside Rhodes State. Because your tomorrow starts here.
We are back, and we would like to tell you about our holiday music festival. Once again, TV44 wants to wish you a Merry Christmas with its annual holiday music festival. We brought in over 1,500 high school students and 29 local choirs to sing your favorite Christmas tunes. Holiday Music Festival will air on Christmas Eve from 4 to 8 p.m. and 10 to 2 a.m. and on Christmas from 7 to 11 a.m. and noon to 4 p.m. Mark, you mentioned during the break that a lot of activity for a 15-13 ball game.
It did seem like the pace of the game was more that the shooting was not particularly good on either team. When we'll get to that, we have time to do some stats.
Well, we have, for the Spartans right now, handling the basketball, Jermonte Healy. Hutchins is back in the ball game. That is Anton. He's got the ball in the post right now. Will make a little move with a jump hook. Didn't catch any iron. And I think we're going to have a foul on Kendall Jackson.
Really nice job defensively by Darren Harris. He gives up a little bit of strength, a little bit of size to Hutchins, but did not allow him to go around him in the low post, made him shoot a little tougher shot.
Yeah, Darren Harris has done a nice job for Mansfield this evening.
He has. He hasn't done a lot, scoring points or, putting big numbers up on the board. He's played solid defensively and rebounded.
Speaking of Darren Harris, there he is taking the ball to the hole. That's about the 4th or 5th take. He went back up to get that rebound, didn't secure it. Lima senior coming the other way. There's the freshman, coach's son, with a basketball, Devin Allen.
Of course, it helps when your dad has an indoor court in your backyard, I think I might have been a decent shooter. My dad never put an indoor court in.
In the wintertime when you and I were kids, we couldn't shoot the ball because we couldn't dribble the ball, at least, because it didn't have any air in it. Mansfield senior with that rebound coming the other way. Was sloppy now, kick ahead of Hutchinson. Look for him to attack the rim, and he does. And he'll get the foul. It looks like Jalen Watts.
Jalen Watts.
Get the sense that both coaches are looking for a kind of a unit that can play together for a few minutes at a time. A lot of substitutions, just trying to find that right combo.
How long do you think it takes, especially teams that are playing 8, 9, 10 guys, to find those rotations?
I think it does. It's a little easier to do in transition, but if the game gets into a kind of a sloppy mess, or if it gets into a half-court game, it becomes tougher, I think, to do that.
I think that's, when you're at a larger school, a D1 school, I think that's where you really earn your money, because, to find those right combinations at the right time of the ball game, I mean, that really pays off.
I agree. Tyrone Perry's back in the game, and I'd like to see Tyrone just explode some game. I think he has some tools, and I'd like to see him get out and really, show some things in the low post.
Neither team really looking to the traditional low post, but penetrating. And here is number 20, Jalen Watts, again getting to the rim, and there's that guy 24 laying it up. A lot of shots. It looks like Lima senior leaking out, and here's number 22 to the rim, and that is Jermonte Healy. Mark, it looks like they're just releasing guys, and of course Mansfield senior not sticking the ball back in the basket, but getting a lot of second shots.
They did, and that time they had 4 guys in the offensive rebounding area, so when the Spartans took off, there's nobody back. There's Perry grabbing the rebound.
There he is, carving out some space, throwing the ball up to Hutchins. And this will be Jermonte Healy again taking the ball to the hole. He'll lose it. Jalen Watts on the pull-up, and there's that guy again inside. Darren Harris just carving out space inside. Well, that young man, Mark, has probably 6 point-blank shots and has no buckets.
Hasn't gone. And, when you think of a guy who was all-district a year ago, you think you're going to make those. Just not a good night going for him this evening, but certainly very active, and you would assume things are going to fall for him.
Well, if you're coach Effie James, you have to feel good about the effort. You have to feel good about the looks you're getting.
Exactly. Here in the first 10 minutes of the basketball game, they've played hard. They're going up and down the court, and somebody's going to break loose and get some baskets here before long.
Ball is going to be kicked outside.
Spartans stay 2-3 zone after the inbounds.
I like this right now. Just a little change of pace out of that out of bounds underneath.
Got 3 rebounders on the baseline, so hopefully there'll be no second shots.
A little penetration. There's Harris again, and that is the 7th miss, I believe, from 1 foot for that young man this evening.
Great save by Healy.
Kick out to number 33, Kendall Jackson. He'll bury that elbow jumper. And here comes the press. Giving Lima senior a chance to set that press.
I've got Mansfield senior missing their last 10 field goal opportunities.
And all of those, with the exception of maybe 1 bucket, point-blank opportunities. And there is another miss.
And they're going to call that no basket. They're going to call that goaltending.
Yeah, I do believe Devin Benson did get that ball in the cylinder. But again, Mark, you have to like the ability to get into the paint, but you have to finish at some point.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Coach Allen a little disappointed at how many. Here's a chance to see that ball right on the edge of the rim, and you can see the 6'7" Benson did tip it when the ball was still in the cylinder.
Well, 18-15 Spartans right now with 5:14 to go in the second quarter. Slow scoring and slow going offensively in the second quarter for both teams.
Hutchins and Harris matched up in the low post.
There is Deshaun Bates calling his number the first times this evening. Another turnover, and there's the kick ahead. And that ball looked like it was blocked by Tyler White, but I think we're going to get a foul. And we are on Tyler White.
Spartan foul, Tyler White. His first team.
So Tyler White has that long, lean build. What do you want to bet in 2 years you walk into this gym and see him, and he'll be about 2 inches taller and maybe 10 or 15 pounds heavier of muscle, and he'll be a real player at that point.
Yeah, you can see that as Jalen Watts knocks down the first, 18-16 Spartans. But you're right, Mark, you can tell he's got a lot of athleticism. He can handle the rock.
Yes. Scores points. Makes good decisions with the basketball usually.
So important at this level to be able to get your own shot, isn't it?
It
Not
is.
have to depend on someone else. Looks like that got tipped by Mansfield Senior. They're throwing their arms up in the air, but I think his veteran referee crew was right there. You know, one thing I mentioned last week, Mark, I think the refereeing in the area is really at an all-time high. Just a fabulous job these senior referee crews are doing.
I agree with that. I think the officiating is very good in our area, and when you compare it to some of the things going on in other parts of the state, very, very good people.
Good strong take, and that was kicked back. Deshaun Bates trying to get the ball to the rim and got that blocked. Watch out, because here comes Mansfield setting up Jalen Watts for a three, and he'll knock it down. That will put Mansfield back in the lead, 20-18. Hutchins with the ball on the perimeter. Right now, Hutchins with a little fadeaway. You said it, Mark. Darren Harris doing an outstanding job with his body, keeping him out of the paint. And that is Hutchins swatting the basketball. Montez Norris taking the ball to the hole, and Hutchins is saying, I'm having none of that.
A little bit frustrated at his own offensive game, so he comes down the defensive end and atones for it.
Well, Darren Harris has the kind of body physically that he can handle.
He does.
Hutchins.
A couple inches shorter, but has some physical presence to him. Spartan stays zone again on baseline out of bounds plays.
Both teams, as we said, settling down a little bit, although turnovers have played a role thus far. Jalen Watts takes a look at a three, versus that ball short corner. And there's the big guy inside. We haven't called his name much tonight, Mark. Devin Benson.
He really has not been, he's not been a real offensive force. Of course, most of what they've done offensively has been in transition, which kind of, leaves him out of the mix usually.
Really haven't seen them run too much in the way of any sets for him either.
You're right. Harris.
Long three again by Jalen Watts.
Three-pointer, Jalen Watts.
Jalen Watts is lighting it up, and from the other side, coming down the other way, is Jermonte Healy. Said, I've got the answer for that. 23-21 with a turnover by Mansfield, 23-21. I'd like to take a moment to thank the athletic director here at Lima Senior, Jim Offenbacher, doing an outstanding job. As always, 44 thanks him for the accommodation and his hospitality with his group in Lima Senior High School. Well, Mark, a couple long threes. Maybe that'll loosen up some of that defense on the inside for the Spartans.
Well, both teams have actually